have your first and last name and your position in Congress?
Yeah, Ben Cline, representative of the 6th Congressional District.
All right, well, Representative Cline, this was your first term of Congress. What have you learned during that time?
Well, I've been joking that it was the quickest 2 years of my life, but the shortest 6 months. It took a while to get up and running, but the experience that I have working for Congressman Goodlatte and my knowledge of the district, my representation at the state level enabled me to hit the ground running and deliver for the people of the 6th District. But the last 6 months of COVID have been turn the world upside down, and we need to beat this virus, get the economy back on track, and that's what I'm focused on first and foremost.
Going off of that, what do you think is the most important issue for the 6th right now?
Well, it's absolutely getting the economy moving again, getting a vaccine for COVID, and making sure we can save lives and get the economy moving again.
And your district covers a very wide area, whether it's Roanoke, Lynchburg, Lexington, everything in between. What is the challenge for you of representing such a diverse group of voters in your district?
It's the best district in the world. It's an honor to represent the people of the 6th District, all the way from Front Royal in the north, down Roanoke, Lynchburg in the south. Lots of farmland, but also manufacturing. It's a diverse economy, and being able to take all those experiences up to Washington and have them reflected in the laws that we pass, it's a great honor, but it's also a challenge, and I believe we've been able to deliver for the people of the 6th District in the laws that I've written and the bills that we've helped pass.
What are the issues that you hear the most from voters that you talk to?
Well, they're very frustrated that government is not working. Government is broken, and that's in part because we don't work together to get things done for the people. We don't put aside our partisan political differences to pursue common goals, whether it's farming legislation, whether it's road legislation. We've got a 6-year highway bill that we need to get done, but because of politics, it gets bogged down. And we need to realize that we can get 98% of what we want if we maybe give a little bit on the 2% and cut a deal and get things done. That's what I've been trying to do while preserving the principles that I ran on: lower taxes, less government, personal freedom and liberty, and constitutional values. So running on those principles, governing on those principles, but willing to reach across the aisle, that's what I've been working on.
And you're just one man in Congress. How much do you hope that your influence can create a transformative change in Congress?
Well, I've been trying to cross over the aisle and sit down with folks on the Democrat side just to get to know them. And just doing that draws looks and glances from my colleagues on both sides when I do that. Not many of my colleagues do that. And it helps you understand where the other side is coming from, learn a little bit about them personally, and helps them to be able to relate to you, learn a little bit about the 6th District, and maybe make some deals that will benefit both of our constituencies in the long run.
Well, we've talked so far about the past and your one term in Congress so far. Let's talk about the future. Why should voters keep you in office this next go-round?
Well, I would ask for the vote of the people of the 6th District because I believe that I'm the one who can best deliver results for the people in the 6th, whether it's related to the economy, related to COVID, related to issues here locally, agriculture, manufacturing, transportation. I have the knowledge of Congress and the inner workings of Congress that I've gained over the last 2 years, and my experiences working for Congressman Goodlatte and at the state level. I'm going to be best positioned to get things done for the district and help the constituents of the 6th District build a better future.
What is your largest advantage over your challenger, you think?
Well, I wouldn't speak to my challenger's advantages or disadvantages one way or the other. I would just put out there that I've got the experience, that I've got the actual results from my first 2 years in Congress, and so the combination of the things that I can bring to the table, I think, make me best positioned to win to not only win the election in November, but govern effectively for the people of the 6th District after the election.
How do you hope to represent, not just represent for the party that you serve, but represent for the voters in the district.
Absolutely. I want to be a representative for the entire 6th District. Everybody in the 6th District should have a voice in Washington, and we may not agree on everything, but there are a lot of issues where we can find common ground. So I'm going to be visiting all parts of the 6th District, continue to advocate for everybody in the 6th District, whether it's regarding I-81 or jobs here in the Roanoke Valley, Shenandoah Valley farming. I'm going to keep speaking up for the people of the 6th.
What do you think is the largest issue in the 6th that is specific to us that you think applies on the federal level?
Well, I think it's jobs and the economy, trying to rebound after COVID to a level that was similar to what we had back in the spring. The early part, January, February, before COVID hit, the economy was doing very well. We had jobs being created here in the Roanoke Valley, and we want to continue that record of success. So getting back to where we were really is going to be my top priority.
So we have less than a month left until the election. What are your plans until then?
Gosh, it's a busy schedule. It's going to be a lot of door knocking. We're trying to find as many opportunities to be out in front of the public as possible, socially distanced and masked appropriately. But, there are fewer festivals, there are fewer parades and opportunities to get in front of the people. So it's a little bit of a different campaign this go around. This is my 11th campaign. And this one's a little bit different, but we're going to do what we can to get out there, and I've been knocking doors and conveying that message to the voters that's so important.
How different is it to campaign as an incumbent versus as a newcomer in Congress the last time?
Well, I can campaign on results, and that's what I promised the voters when I went to Washington that I was going to be able to do, and I have been. In my first 2 years. I was the first freshman Republican to get a bill signed into law to help small businesses. I've passed legislation into law to help our nation's veterans, to help our local economy, and so I'm proud of the accomplishments that we've been able to get over the past 2 years, and I want to ask the voters for their confidence to go continue to work to get more done in the next 2 years.
And in the past election versus Jennifer Lewis, you beat her handily. Do you have optimism that this will happen this election?
Well, I'm hopeful that the experience, if I can get the message out to the voters, my experience over the last 2 years will convince them that I'm the right choice for the next 2 years. And so I'm asking for their vote, and I hope we'll have a similar result to what we had 2 years ago.
So what are your plans for election night itself? We're going to have some kind of get-together? You're going to be watching from home? What's that going to look like?
We're trying to figure that out because we can't have a huge crowd like we did 2 years ago, packed into a ballroom of a hotel with a band and food, but we want to be able to celebrate hopefully a Republican victory across the board on election night. And so we'll get the message out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, where we're going to be on election night, and hope that folks can come out and join us.
All right, circling back just for a moment, right now you are the minority party in the House of Representatives, and who knows if that will be the case going forward after November. But what has been the challenge for you trying to, be an effective legislator while being on the minority side?
It is a challenge, and it's the first time I've been in the minority. In the State House, I was in the majority for 16 years. And learning how to work with folks on the other side of the aisle to get things done for your district. When you're in the majority, it's nice to work with the other side, but it's not necessary. Here in the minority, you do have to work with the majority. You have to learn who you can work with, reaching out to those people, being accommodating where you can, standing on principle where you have to. And so those are the goals that I've taken to Washington, and it's delivered results for the people.
How do you bridge the gap between the issues that cities in your district face, such as Roanoke and Lynchburg, versus the rural towns, everywhere else along I-81 and in between?
Right. You have to be able to talk to your colleagues about the issues that are not just important to farmers in Rockbridge County, but also folks who are working here in Roanoke, in Vinton, in Lynchburg, in Harrisonburg. There are very different issues facing folks in the cities in the 6th District than folks in the rural areas. But there are also issues that unite us. I-81, for example, unites everybody. Everybody's frustrated with the traffic on I-81 and the truck traffic, so the widening projects, getting those completed, are very important.
Okay, so final question. This is your chance to make a case to voters. Why should they vote for you?
Well, I hope that I have earned the trust of the voters over the last 2 years, working with my colleagues in Congress on a bipartisan basis to deliver results for the people of the 6th District. I ask you to visit my webpage, bencline.com, visit my Facebook pages, and learn for yourself about the results that I've gotten for the people in the 6th, and I would humbly ask for their support for another 2 years, fighting for them and their values in the House of Representatives.
So to sum it all up, is results versus inexperience.
That's it. It's all about results, and I believe I've delivered results for the people, and I'd ask for their confidence for another 2 years.